Hello, hello. This is my review slash comparison slash critique slash random thoughts on Keystone Master in Mythic Plus. Kind of the whole system focused around Keystone Master because I feel like that's where kind of the biggest break point is. Right, the plus 15s are pretty big. You can go higher, of course, but we're just talking about Keystone Master right now. So I just want to say hello to everybody listening. It's probably just you, Jake. But in case Ethan or Brennan or by small chance my brother is here, welcome to the party. Um, so anyways, yeah, just some quick thoughts. I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna try not to be too mean to either PvP or Mythic Plus or too nice. I'll try to be objective. But it's still based on opinion, so it is what it is. Okay, so the biggest thing to talk about when talking about Mythic Plus and like just mostly Mythic Plus, not even Keystone Master, is finding groups and the awfulness that is finding groups. Um, it's awful for a few reasons, and they all kind of work together to make it bad. And the first one is, of course, we've talked about it before, but the sign up limit, the 5 party sign up limit. When you're looking for a group, you cannot sign up for more than 5 parties at a time. Why? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna talk about what's going on here too. The sleep thing, that's going to be a part of it too, just saying. So if you want to watch this, you can. I'm going to be talking about a lot of these issues. But back to the sign-up thing. Why is there a 5... Oh my god, I got slipped again. A 5-party sign-up limit? No idea. Is it to prevent me from spamming, group invites, or like requests for invites? What if I want to do all those dungeons? You know what I mean? Like there are often like 5 to 10 groups per dungeon for a given difficulty level, let's say 14 to 16. Why can I not sign up for more than 5 of them if I want to do all of them? It makes no sense, right? It gives me more options. It gives the group leader more options. I mean, it works. I don't understand. Maybe someone can explain it to me. I don't get it, but I don't like it because I'm sitting there trying to find a group for dozens of minutes sometimes at a time, sometimes up to like 30 minutes. Sometimes I just give up. Whatever, I guess I won't play tonight because I can't find a group in a dungeon that I want to do. Oh, it's awful. And like I said, it's compounded by the fact that these other mechanics work against each other as well. In that the fact that when you sign up for a group, the party leaders often don't accept you or decline you until their group is disbanded. They fill up, right? So now you just have these one or more of your 5 slots are completely stuck in terms of and in terms of being able to find more. You can't find any more. They're taken up. Which is awful. And so you might say, "Oh, Jason, why don't you just cancel your invite to those and sign up for other groups?" Well, random argumenter, you can't do that because there's no way to distinguish in the group finder which groups you've signed up for or tried to sign up for before in the past and which groups you haven't. And I mean, for one thing, there's nothing in the UI that says like, "Hey, you've tried to sign up for this group already," And all the titles are exactly the same. They all say plus 15, plus 14, plus 16, right? That's all it is. It's literally just those 3 characters. Plus 1, 6, plus 1, 5. And they're all, so you sign up for 5 parties that are all plus 1, 5, right? Then how do you, and say, all of them don't accept you and none of them decline you though. And so you cancel those, and now you have you only have 5 more slots. So you just have to click randomly and try to figure it out. Did I do these ones? I don't know. Like it looks the same. It doesn't look the same. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, and it's just a really bad experience all the way around. And again, compounded by that is the fact that I can't host my own group. Okay, I can't host my own group because I can only do the keystone of the group, or I can only do the dungeon of the keystone that I own, and there's no way to control which keystone I own. It's random. It's so stupid. In PvP, I can very easily start looking for a group, right? I can literally type in looking for this, rating needs to be this or whatever, eye level needs to be that, whatever it is, and then I can sit there, let it rest, let it go, go watch some YouTube, wait till people sign up or not, whatever. At least it's in my control. You know what I mean? Like I can take somebody, I can take a chance on somebody or not, all the time, and I love having that. It's like it's why not do that? Why not do that? But with the way keystones work, the fact that you're just given a random keystone to a random dungeon at a not a random difficulty, but at a technically usually it's a higher difficulty. Um, but what if you don't need to do that dungeon? What if you have the dungeon at plus 15? Why? We're gonna get into this later, but why are keystones even a thing? I had an experience where earlier in the season I had like a plus 14 or plus 15 lower Karazhan keystone. And this is the time when lower Karazhan was super overtuned and no one was clearing it, essentially. And so it was a dead key. So what I did was I dropped the difficulty of the key down to like plus 11. I thought, hey, why not just do it at lower difficulty and try to get a new dungeon? Okay, fine. So I dropped it to like plus 11, cleared it, right? We cleared it pretty easily, actually. We got like a plus 2 or plus 3. I think it was a plus 3. And then I got a plus 14 keystone to Iron Docks. Great, right? It's a new keystone. Except I'd also already done Iron Docks. So now it's another dead keystone. So I said, oh my god, I just spent 35 minutes doing lower Karazhan, a dungeon I don't even like. I don't like the Karazhan dungeons. I don't like the theme. I don't like the boss fights. I don't like a lot of it. Whatever. It is what it is. They can't all be slam dunks, right? But I shouldn't have to do it again, or do it when I don't want to do it. So I'm like, fine, oh my god, I'll do Iron Docks. At least I can get gear from this one. So these asleep things piss me off so much. So I do the Iron Docks, and lo and fucking behold, we clear it. We clear the plus 14 Iron Docks, and what do I get? A plus 15 lower Karazhan again. Dude, I cannot tell you how frustrated that made me. Are you serious? Are you for real right now? This is so frustrating. I'm just trying to progress my dungeons, and I can't. I would have been better just spending like the hour and a half that I had been, or like probably about an hour, doing the dungeons, progressing my keystones. I should have spent that time just looking for a group, not even playing the game, right? And I probably would have found a group in that time. It's just it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate that that's the system that it has, because then like at the end of the week, of course, your keystone transfers into a random keystone. Okay, cool, great. What did I get? I got like Solia's Gambit, which was another dungeon that I didn't have to do. So it's just 4 dead keystones in a row that I have no control over, that I'm not able to change, and it's just a waste of time. The only way I could change it is by doing like a dungeon of that equal keystone, and then at the end of the dungeon you talk to somebody and it transforms your keystone to a random keystone, right? So it's more random chance, and it still takes like the 30 minutes or whatever to do the dungeon. It's just to get it. It's 30 minutes to do the dungeon to do the dungeon to get a random chance. It's not a great system. I don't like it, and it put me off from running dungeons for weeks, because I was like, oh well, maybe I'll just wait for my friends to get on. Maybe they have better keystones that we can do, right? But then, WoW Classic pre-patch came out and everyone's playing that, and now no one's playing retail anymore, so I got no one to play with. Which, that's whatever, but I should be able to just play the game and do the dungeons I want. I mean, I really don't see why not. All in all, like, why are keystones even a thing? Why can't I just pick the dungeon and the difficulty I want to go to? What value do keystones add? This random chance to maybe get the dungeon you want. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you can't spam the dungeons that just give the best gear. But all the dungeons give different best gear, right? I mean, like out of I think like 5 out of this, maybe even like 6 out of the 8 dungeons all give a different best in slot gear item. So I'm going to be spamming all the other ones anyways, if that's the case. I mean, they're just, the keystone mechanic adds nothing, and it costs a lot, because it costs me playing this game. I would have gotten it a lot. I would have gotten Keystone Master a lot earlier, and honestly had a lot more fun doing it, because it would have been a lot more challenging for reasons we'll get into later. But instead, I just waited. Whatever. Eventually, people, gear scores are gonna rise, and it'll be easier and easier. Whatever. It's just it was really lame. So that was the biggest problem with the Mythic Dungeon system. The group finder, which still better than the classic group finder. I mean, it still is a very good group finder, except for that one thing that for some reason is there that I don't like. But moving on. So this next one's a little bit abstract, but the biggest problem I ran into as a melee DPS was that where I was taking damage from was not clear. And that's for a couple of different reasons. The AoE hitboxes are not clear, in my opinion. And also, the camera is awful, which we've already seen in this dungeon. I think I'm going to go back and show you some examples. The camera is awful when you're forced into these small, tight corridors where all these crazy animations are happening, which is another thing, the ground animation clutter. And it's just such a frustrating experience because you can't see anything, right? Like I'm gonna rerun this right now. Back to like say here. Look at this. Look at okay. We're in this tight little Grimrail Depot train. Oh, look at all these people. It's gonna be fun, right? Like it looks like a great pack to kill. I'm just like, oh, I got all my cooldowns. I'm about to pop off. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. So I do my shit. I do my stuff. But just look at the ground and look at where I am. I don't think you can see my mouse, but just look at where I am in the middle of the screen and just see if you can like tell what's going on, right? Now, to be fair, there might be some settings I can change, but I'm pretty sure I changed all the ground animation settings to like the lowest it can be, right? There's like a couple different ones you can do. There's like essential, which is just yours and other essential grounds, but that was way too much as well. So I turned that off and I just turned it to the lowest setting possible, and this is what I was left with. And it's like there's all this stuff going on. Oh, there's a camera. Okay, I can kind of see stuff going on. Okay, numbers, bunch of stuff. Oh my god, you can't see anything. It's just light. It's just light. You know what I mean? Like look on that, and then the sleep circle's right there, and I'm asleep now for 5 seconds, and it's so frustrating. Look at that. That dude got hit too. I mean, what a terrible thing. It's not necessarily only Mythic Plus, but this specific dungeon is the worst I ever found. This one's also bad. This tank is amazing by tanking it right here. I've never seen a tank do this. Here's the Flame Tongue Totem. Oh, I hate that. I can't even see it. Did you see the Flame Tongue Totem go down? Do you see it? Say, you're just hitting people. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Where is it? Where's the Flame Tongue Totem? Spot the Flame Tongue. Where's Waldo? Right? I don't know. Where's the animation that is hitting? I don't know. Where? I'm looking for, okay, I guess I just gotta move. Whatever, I'll move. So I move. Whatever. And this move too. This is in every dungeon. This Carrion Swarm Shockwave. Where does it end? I can see where it starts. Where does it end? It's like, it's so unclear. Okay, is it going, look at this animation. Is it all the way out here? What? Where does it end? I guess it was. It's not clear. And the other AoE one that the big named infiltrator thing guy does, camera, that the big named camera thing does is also awful. I've gotten hit by that before. So that is the Magma Totem right there. You couldn't see it before because it was in all the clutter. And as a melee DPS, this issue is so awful, right? Like the Hunter, I'm guessing, is just sitting back there. Oh my god, look at that! I mean, look at that. I'm like, what? Shrapnel Blast? Black Rock Grenade? Let's see that again. Let's see that death. Where is this? What is going on here? Okay, so it's right here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, all this animation. The camera sucks. I can't see anything, and I'm dead. And I'm dead. Okay, sorry. I guess I should have done other things. I guess I should have positioned better. But I don't know where to position because I can't see the ground. I feel like you guys get it. I feel like you get it, but still, it's just, I can't tell you how frustrating it is because dying sucks, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure I popped my cooldowns right before this, as I usually do. So now I just wasted those. I waste time running back. It's not fun. I instantly die, which is another thing we're going to talk about with the difficulty options being only health and damage, mostly I should say health and damage increases. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. This dungeon specifically, I will say, and that's why I'm really glad I did this dungeon last, because I've been thinking about this dungeon so much and just how these camera angles. Look at it. Just where am I supposed to look? Where am I stand behind, but as you look at where I stand here, I'm pretty sure it's this one. I'm like really close to pulling the pack behind me. I remember I was like, oh, I'll just stand here. Perfect. Why don't more people stand back here? Oh, that's why. Okay, never mind. Another fun pack here, except it's got the freaking the camera system. I can't really see what's going on. It's got the sleep thing. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to figure out the camera. I'm trying to press my buttons too. And as a monk, I just want to pause it real quick and just be like, my rotation is really dynamic, and I'm always having to look at like my bar because things are coming up and there is no set rotation. It's like a priority cooldown order, but the stuff that happens on cooldown is really random, and there's a lot to keep track of as a monk. I don't want to get into it right now. This isn't a class guide, but there's a lot to keep track of, and so having to do that and also fuck with the camera and try to squint and see on the ground if there's anything there. It's just, it's so much, and it's a huge part of the experience that is severely diminishes, excuse me, the experience. Um, like this one works too because again, this tank is amazing and just killing it. I'm pretty sure like the infantry should be shooting like in a line down the hallway. That's what's always happened. I'm pretty sure it's infantry. It might be like the gunner or whatever, and that's not in this pack. But some of these packs have the gunner, and it's just you can't see the gunner because of all the clutter. You can't see where it's facing because of all the clutter. And there's the gunner right there. And then there's also the magnetotem in the back that you can't see. So you're just like, where do I stand? It's just like, constantly like, where am I standing? Where do I go? And then in higher difficulties, it just kills you so fast, especially the gunners. Um, especially the gunners. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on past that. Moving on past that. Just a little one shot thing here. This boss, kind of a cool idea. I don't love the whole thing of like you just have to stand behind a pillar for 7 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever it is. It's kind of lame because I'm just standing there, you know. I would rather have it where, like in this phase, he shoots like little boom 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 or whatever, you know, like little AOE circles that you have to dodge rapid fire. I just wish it like when he targets you later in this fight. I wish it was more like that. Where you could just like sidestep, you know, boom, sidestep right, sidestep left, sidestep right, sidestep left. That'd be cool. I, Other than that, I do like how I think details fixed it. But the last time I was doing this, it would count the damage I do with the cannon on the boss, and the cannons they do a ton of damage, so my damage would skyrocket. But I'm pretty sure that it doesn't actually add that in this one. I think they updated it, but it definitely used to, which I loved. But okay, so this is actually a good segue into the difficulty part of it because the difficulty is I think where it's going to get a little bit dicey. So in this fight, this might be the only time I've ever had anybody help me with the cannon and firing the boss. Nobody knows how to fight the boss. Like I just had to stand behind the pillar. Okay, I might have been able to stand behind the pillar up there, to be fair, right? And I think about that later, but I probably should have done that. But oftentimes the tank doesn't tank it in a good spot, or there's all this fire on the ground, like that fire, and then you can't stand in that, and then you're just like something happens where you're just sitting behind a pillar, not doing anything, right? But anyways, my point is that this is the first time doing this dungeon, maybe 5 times, that anyone's actually helped me with this cannon. And I don't know if anyone actually does. I think I literally shoot him all 3 times again, right? and that brings me to the segue point because Keystone Master being the end goal of this is not a high enough goal. It is too easy. It is not that fulfilling. Yes, you have to learn the mechanics. You do. But you do not have to Keystone Master them. You do not. You have to know them a little bit, and then you can still make a ton of mistakes. You can still easily get carried, right? I mean, you can see right now I'm doing about 17 and a half. In the bottom right, that's the total overall damage on the right, and on the left is the damage done for the current fight. So, as you can see, the cannon does a ton of damage. It doesn't give it to me, unfortunately, and it actually hurts my damage doing it because I'm in the cannon. I'm not hitting them. They're AOE. You know what I mean? Look, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I'm like, do I get this damage? No, I don't. Okay, that's stupid, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I'm gonna pause it real quick because we're getting out of time. The difficulty is it's crazy. It's crazy how easy it is. And I'm sorry to say that, but it is so easy. Keystone Master. It's really just a time investment. It really is. And let me preface this by saying, I should have said it at the very beginning, but I really did enjoy my time getting Keystone Master. But I really also feel like it's just the beginning. Like I just started. You know what I mean? Like I finally learned the dungeons, and now I have the title and the mount. I don't know if that's a title. I don't think there's a title, but I finally have the mount and the achievement, right? And now it's like, what else can I get? I can get like Keystone Conqueror or whatever, which is, just another achievement, and that gives some really shitty rewards, like the you teleport to the dungeon. Cool, except you never got to use it again. Cool. So I don't love that. I think Keystone Master should have been higher, because right now the mount kind of feels like a participation award, and I really would have liked it to be more difficult to get, because it would have been felt a lot more fulfilling to get then. Maybe that's elitist of me. I don't think so, because you can just see how many people have it. I mean, you go walk around Orbos like 2 or 3 weeks after the season starts, and everyone's just running around with their Keystone Master mount, and it doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I did some dungeons for a little bit, or even I just got carried. You know what I mean? Because as I was saying with my damage, right now I'm doing about 15k, because again, that boss hurt my DPS because it didn't count. But regardless, most people that I did dungeons with in the 13s, 14s, 15 range did about 10k DPS per second. With some of them going as low as like 6,000. And even earlier today, I did one, and this outlaw rogue did 3,000. 3,000 damage a second, less than the healer who did 3.5k. And that rogue still got the exact same rewards as I did. You know what I mean? Granted, we did not time that dungeon, obviously, partly because of that, but also because it was upper Karazhan and it's super freaking hard and gimmicky. But we didn't, like, he essentially just got carried through that. If there were 5 of him, or even just like 3 of him DPSing, there's no way they do that. There's no way, right? But because it's so easy, you really don't need a team of 5. You do need a team of like 3. 1 tank, 1 DPS, 1 healer. And even sometimes I've seen tanks just like solo the boss from like half health, and they just stay alive the whole time. It's kind of crazy. And then like there's the talk of the overall difficulty. The biggest difference, I think, between the arena and the Keystone and the Mythic Plus is the difficulty curve. Okay, this is the biggest strength of Mythic Pluses, is that the difficulty curve feels really smooth. Just the fact that there are so many ways, like there are so many different levels you can go to, right? Like technically up to 30, but really let's just say it's between 1 and 15, or like 1 and 16 or 1 and 17, because that's what I've done. There are so many levels you can go to go to your comfort level, and in a way, right? As long as you have the Keystone, you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go. And so the difficulty curve, going from someone who, granted, don't get me wrong, I don't think I was bad at the game, but I really did not know these dungeons. I went from someone who did that to someone who was at the very least halfway competent with all the content. It felt very smooth, which was nice, and that helped. And that's different, because here I pretty much only have to learn my class, and if I know my class, then I just have to learn the mechanics, right? Most people have a basic understanding of their own class. In PvP, on the other hand, you have to know every class. You have to know how to react to every other class's ability, and you can't really pick what difficulty you want to go to. You're just there. You're just at that difficulty. You just get the. Sorry, I'm still paused. I probably should have some animation or something going, but we got a lot. I'm like halfway done. Maybe a little more halfway done. So just so you know, and it's been about 22 minutes. Okay. I'll try to wrap it up quick. I'm sorry. I figure you're at work or something, so you're probably fine. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the difficulty curve in PvP. You have to know every other class, every other spec, how they interact, how the different comps interact. You have to know what their CC is, particularly how to get out of it, positioning. I mean, it's just, oh my god, the difficulty curve is a straight line up. It's a straight line up for a long time, then it plateaus, and then it starts going up at again, even steeper than Mythic Plus. And that's why I think that like the equivalent of Keystone Master in terms of rewards for PvP is 1800, right? That's when you get the helm, the chest, and the shoulder, I'm pretty sure, enchant or transmog pieces, which is super awesome. So you get that season's transmog, which is a really great reward too. It's like a mount, or it's similar to a mount in my mind, because it's a unique, one time only, collectible. Mounts are cool too though. It just depends on which one is cooler. Like the season 1 Shadowlands PvP leather set that I got for getting it, it felt not only did it feel so rewarding and fulfilling to get, because it felt like I fucking earned it, but also it's one of my favorite transmog sets. So I love that reward um, particularly a lot. Um, but then, so the reward for Keystone Master is 1800, but the actual difficulty level for Keystone Master I think is at like 1450 or 1500, way below. Those 300 to 350 points are massive. That's the difference between literally a beginner and top 15%, right? Because I don't think you can drop rating below 1400. So 1400 is literally like the baseline, I think. And it's just like if you play enough arena games, you're probably gonna get it 1400, 1500 eventually, right? I mean, you probably will. It's even that is probably still harder, just because of the amount of shit that you have to learn and the difficulty of learning it. Because PvP does not do difficulty well at all. That is its biggest problem. Difficulty is awful, especially in the fast-paced meta that has been in Shadowlands, where you just like, oh, you messed up, you didn't pre-wall this instant stun, you're just dead. Then most likely, if they're good enough and they can cross CC your healer at the same time, you're just dead. What'd you do wrong? Who knows, dude? Who knows? Go watch your VOD back and then ask for advice on Reddit. That's literally what like I had to amount to get better. And I'm like an 1800 player. You know what I mean? That's not even like 2100, 2400, the top tier. Like when I see people play League, this is a little bit different because I've played a lot of League. I can I don't know. It's also hard. It's also hard there, but I feel like WoW PvP, the difficulty and it's so difficult because the fact that what you have to do is so abstract and it's not clear, and that is the problem with Mythic Plus. It's like, okay, don't stand in the fire anymore. That's literally it, right? Don't stand in the fire anymore. Or don't do this one thing that's very clear. You can literally look back. Okay, yeah, it's bursting this week, so do this one thing differently. Okay, cool. Now you know. There's no VOD review. There's no sort of like questioning like, well, what did they do better than the other team that we just beat? That was the same comp 3 games ago. What did they do differently? What did we do differently? It's so dynamic. PvP is that it's just so hard to learn in my mind. Okay, and that also is compounded by the fact that the difference of fighting NPCs and humans, right? Real alive humans are as smart as you, and they're trying to beat you and fool you, etc., as opposed to these NPCs that are doing the exact same shit every time. So it's just, I mean, it's not even close. PvP is just so much more difficult, which is a good and a bad thing, right? It's a good thing because it's very fulfilling. It's very fulfilling and rewarding when you do master it, or you feel like you've mastered it, or you reach a goal that you set for yourself. It's so nice because you've overcome this massive hurdle, right? It's kind of like the Dark Souls effect, where this massive, again, hurdle is in your way. You take the time, you learn the mechanics, and you figure it out, and you beat it, and you climb your way there after gaining rating, losing rating, which again doesn't happen with dungeons. You don't lose rating. So you're gaining rating, losing rating, kind of, rubber banding up and down, up slowly, as you go up and up. It just feels really good. It feels really good, like, for example, when I hit that 1800. And a feeling that is noticeably lacking when I hit the Keystone Master. It doesn't feel that rewarding because Keystone Master is too low, and because the way the difficulty is scaled is not that dynamic, which is I think a word I used before. We've talked about this before, but I just wish so much that they could change how the difficulty is scaled in these dungeons. I wish they added, like, I wish the boss's mechanics got harder as opposed to just doing more damage and having more health. There are the affixes, of course, yes, but the affixes, maybe besides like 1 or 2, are so boring and oftentimes ignorable, and just like they're so boring and uninspired. You know what I mean? Oh, tornadoes come around. Okay, cool. Oh, bursting. Okay, cool. Oh, it's tyrannical versus fortified. That's not really a thing. That's not. I mean, it's just like a whatever. Okay. Here it's inspired. That is whatever, bro. It's inspired. Cool. And then there's deep wounds. That's a healer mechanic, so it really barely even affects me. You know what I mean? The Nathrezim one is cool because right now, going into this boss, I don't know if you can look at my buff, but I have 10 stacks of it. That's 20% crit. That's a cool little thing there. A cool, excuse me, cool little challenge you can do. Try to get as many as you can. I wish it was like maybe more difficult to do it because they're just like in your way. You just have to go and kill them. You know what I mean? But still, it's cool. It gives you a buff as well. Makes you feel strong. Cool beans. But in PvP, it scales dynamically because at lower rating, people are gonna like you. PvP people are not gonna be playing the same way as they're playing at higher rating, right? And so you're gonna have to learn. It's essentially like the boss. The bosses, if you consider the enemy team the boss, their mechanics are getting harder, right? Their mechanics are getting better, cleaner, more difficult, more precise, and you have to be better, cleaner, more precise to counter that, right? And so as you climb, the boss in quotations gets dynamically more difficult, and that I think is what Mythic Plus is trying to be emulating, that feeling of dynamicness, because getting one shot by a mechanic that you can't even see on the ground is not fun. It's not fun. Just like getting one shot in PvP from a rogue you can't see out of stealth is not fun, right? And that does happen, and that's awful when that happens. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. Or by a hunter rogue excuse me, combo. Not fun, and that happens all the time here. And just, I mean, the amount of mistakes you can make in these Mythic Pluses is just insane. I don't know if I talked about this already, but the amount of mistakes you can make and still complete the key and still, get Keystone Master is just it's too much. You can make too many mistakes. It's not fulfilling. Keystone Master, I will say, not fulfilling. And then also CC, crowd control in PvP. Imagine imagine in Mythic Plus if you just like randomly stun instantly for 5 seconds, and you're just like in the way of a boss AOE, just randomly, no way to stop it, except by equipping, the Medallion of the Horde or of the Alliance and being able to get rid of 1 CC essentially. Oh, but then another's right behind it too because they have teammates with multiple CCs. And your healer CC'd, your health's getting low. Oh, and your healer's instantly CC'd. It's just PvP in Mythic Plus in terms of difficulty on another level. Hardly even comparable. I like to compare it to, it's like co-op versus AI for Mythic Plus versus Summoner's Rift 5v5 ranked in PvP, because it's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different level of accomplishment when you do beat it as well. Okay, moving on. Talked a little bit about the rewards. I wish the rewards were moved up to like 2,500 or 2,600 Keystone rating or whatever, dungeon rating, just so it feels better. My next point, the thing I love about Mythic is how they reuse old dungeons. This was really awesome for me specifically because all of these like 8 dungeons I had never done. I had like maybe done them once or twice leveling, or maybe even a little bit more times leveling, but you can ignore the mechanics there. It's even easier leveling. You just steamroll your way through if the mechanics are even there. You just so with the fact that they've reused dungeons, I don't have to do the same Shadowlands dungeons that I did at the beginning of the expansion, right? I mean, you know this too, but I get to experience new dungeons. So good, so good. It is only like what was that? Reckless Slash? Okay, that's fair. If there was, or it really does only work once, because look at this Reckless Slash. Does it go all the way around him? I guess. Oh, because that's that's the animation turned down very low, by the way. I probably should have been rezzed by the druid, but I clicked res myself. That was a mistake. Love the old dungeon content, but if they were to reuse like Grimriel Depot and Karazhan and that sort of thing again, obviously it wouldn't be all of these in a row, but it would feel, a little bit shitty. Or if like I had done these dungeons a ton before and then now I'm back and there aren't very many substantial changes besides the stupid affixes that I've said don't really change much, especially not like in a meaningful way, then I would be a little more upset. But still, I do like the idea. I think it's one of the best parts of this system, and it allows for so much growth and so much. Imagine Ragefire Chasm. Imagine Ragefire Chasm at like Mythic 20. That would be so cool. Wailing Caverns, no! They'd have to split that one into like four. Um, okay. Anyways, super cool idea. I love that. Another thing I like about it is with all these people, with all these dungeons I did, besides the one I did with my friends, I don't have to be in comms with them, right? In PvP, you have to be in comms. You have to. Communication is so important. Which is, a good thing and bad thing. But specifically when you're just pugging, it's definitely a bad thing to have to be in comms. Because even in PvP with the people that like I would play with right away, I wouldn't get all of them into comms right away, these random pugs, right? When I'm just playing 2v2s, I'd play a couple with them and then like, all right, hey, yeah, we're clicking. Let's get in the comms, or like, oh, we're not clicking, and then we leave, right? But maybe they would have been fine if we were in comms the whole time. It's kind of hard to tell. Um, so the fact that you don't have to communicate that much, at least again in the context of Keystone Master, is really nice. That I'm just kind of sitting here doing my own thing. I can listen to music if I want to. I don't listen to music because I need to hear the stuff going on because I can't see what's on the ground. Look all this shit. This one's fine. Like directional stuff like that with the boss is fine because you can actually see the boss, right? I wish it was a little bit bigger. It took me a while to figure out that it's like, oh, he's actually pointing in that direction. Okay, that makes sense. But if there were like four of them and one of them randomly did the spinning spear thing where he throws it like that, it would be awful. And that it is awful, and it happens all the time. Um, so another thing is I like Mythic Plus. Okay, I'm gonna just pause it right here. There I did. I got it. Yay, we did it. Um, I like how different classes have different forms of utility in a much different way in in Mythic Plus. Like at least you're using your those utility abilities, right? I still argue, and I think most people would argue, that in PvP you're using way more of your kit, way more of your time, way more, and it's like specifically and intentionally. You have to if to to, to be the best. I do believe that, but at least you're using Shroud of Concealment or Ring of Peace as a monk, which is nice. I can use Tiger's Lust on a tank or whatever, which speed it up a little bit. It's not as important, obviously, as using it, say, um, Tiger's Lust on someone snared by an enemy mage in PvP, so they can get around a pillar and not die. Um, it's way more important in PvP. But just the fact that it's kind of a unique situation to use like Shroud of Concealment. Did I already say that? I forgot. Shroud of Concealment, that sort of thing, or like CC as well. I wish there was a more clear distinction on what characters are CCable and which ones aren't, because I'm just like, oh, I have my AoE spin attack, I'll use it. Hopefully some people get knocked down, right? Most of the time they're immune, whatever. Then there's like the whole, moving on a little bit to a different subject, there's a lot of anti-melee mechanics besides just like the ground clutter stuff. There also are anti-range mechanics. I've been thinking about these for a little bit, and I don't think these are really bad nor good. They just kind of have to be there, because otherwise they'd be so super pinholed into what kind of mechanics you can use, right? Because every mechanic's going to favor or disfavor one or the other more than the other, right? So I think they had like a what is that? It's like a necessary evil, whatever. People dropping feasts beforehand is like the most community that somebody can that the biggest aspect of community that somebody can actually get before a dungeon. It's like a nice thing. It's always good. It provides a benefit. It costs some gold. It's like, thanks, man. Oh, one thing I want to touch on is, this is gonna sound stupid, but I wish there weren't portals to the dungeons. And this is because I wish that I could travel to these dungeons and, like the person dropping the feast, give my own out of dungeon utility in my own way. I wish maybe, yeah, I'm gonna die a little bit. I'm learning, but hey, I got your summons, bro. I like that. And I mean, just like taking the portal there, it's I don't know. I don't even know where Mechagon really even is. That doesn't help me. Karazhan also, I think it would have been cool to fly to Karazhan. That would be freaking sick. Maybe take a portal to Stoneheart or something. That way, at least you're seeing like the old world. You're seeing where these dungeons lie, and you're literally seeing the dungeon. Gorgron's kind of that way, right? With this dungeon, and it's really nice. I like it. I wish it was even a little bit further to fly, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. Not the biggest deal. That's the kind of thing that I like, and I just wish that I could, you know, give a little bit give a little utility in my own way. So a lot of this was negative. I probably should have prefaced this by saying that like it's going to be a lot of criticism, but overall, I mean, I had a great time with the Keystone Master, and that's mainly just because of the difficulty curve being what it is, being just so smooth it feels, and also I think my class is really fun. I don't think it's gonna be fun forever, my class, but it does make me want to try it on a different class, and it's probably gonna be Combat Rogue or Outlaw Rogue, which is another squishy melee DPS class, but they're super good, so I'm gonna try it. And you know, I'll see what it's like there, but I like the focus on AoE. I think is what makes it so much fun. I just feel so strong, dude. I get in there, we pull 2 or 3 packs, and I'm just, you see all these numbers, you know, you're popping all your cooldowns, and it literally is like what I excel at. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just, you know, monks, just crushing people, spinning around, and just punching them, boom, boom, boom. It feels really, really good. It makes me feel really, really strong. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it's like on other classes. Okay, and also, I mean, just like playing WoW with friends. It just comes down to playing WoW with friends is always fun, right? I mean, you're out there playing with your buds, doing the content, and this is more content you can do. At only 5 people, it's PvE still. It's really, really good, especially with friends. If you can get like a full squad, really, really good. Oh, it's always good. But I mean, excuse my yawn. So are like BGs and that sort of thing, with friends as well. Okay, so what would I want to make? Right now, I would say Mythic pluses are like a 7 or maybe 8 out of 10, whereas arenas are like an 8 or 9 out of 10. What would I want to have Mythic pluses become equal to or even surpass arenas? It's 3 things. Number 1, get rid of keystones. As I said before, why are they there? What do they do? And it shows your affixes. You can already see your who looks at your keystone for affixes. Just look at the looking for group page or whatever. It's why are they there? Let me choose the dungeon and difficulty. Why not? Why not? Second one's the big one, also the hardest one. More dynamic difficulty scaling. I would love to see the bosses. This is what would make the old dungeons way more fun again too, if you've already done them. Is you can see the new mechanics that the bosses have, or the improved mechanics, or whatever, the more intense mechanics, right? And it would also, like, I really have no desire right now to push higher keys, because it's just, they just get more health and more damage, right? It's like playing Skyrim on a higher difficulty level. They become, you know, you just hit them a bunch of times. Go, 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 go. Hit them, swing them with your sword. Swing, swing, swing. Shoot them with your bow. Whatever. It doesn't do it for me. But if there were like different breakpoints for different mechanics, you know, being, you know, more difficult or whatever, maybe on that last boss she throws 2 spears, or you know, and then it goes up to 3 spears or whatever, and then like a more of a cone. Maybe I don't know. There there are a lot of different ways you could do it, and I mean, like the first boss, right? The two like the pair of bosses or whatever. Maybe the dude, when he charges, maybe he turns around and charges again, right? Like it's really not. I feel like it's not that hard to do, but it would make the fight feel more interesting, and you can even bump it up to now he charges 3 times, right? It changes the dynamic a lot, where you have to really be paying attention, really be more observant, and that's on top of all the other mechanics that they could be changing as well. And it would it'd make me want to push higher to see what else there is. And then this one's kind of related to that one, but for the third one, more interesting affixes. I said it before, they're boring, uninspired. They're like what a first year like game design major might think of like to make their game more difficult. It's like yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what to say about it other than that. Make them better. Anyways, overall, great experience. It could be better. I like it. I like having fun. I do want to try with a different class, see what it's like. And yeah, 45 minutes was way longer than I thought it would be. So sorry about that. Um, if you're still here, thank you for listening. Um, if if you didn't make it this far, that's fine too. Totally understood. I'm guessing you're at work. So again, have a nice day at work. I'll even see if I can even upload this to YouTube. It's kind of a long form video essay in a way. But excuse me. Yeah. All right. See you later. See you online.